Hey man, we back, man. Today we gotta talk about this crazy situation involving Blueface and Adin Ross. Cause what started as, a boxing event has now turned into a full-blown mess behind the scenes. So we talking contract issues, unpaid money, and a whole lot of drama that's blowing up online right now. So let's get into it. So if you missed it, Blueface recently fought at Adin Ross's boxing event. This is one of those influencer style type fight nights, the big personalities, the big hype, a lot of eyes on it and everything. But everything seemed normal at first. The fight happened, the clips went viral, Ruger won, as a Chicago guy, I was hyped about that. And people was talking about it all over social media. But then things quickly took a turn after the event ended. Because instead of celebrating or moving on, the conversation shifted into one big question. Did Blueface get paid? And according to what's been going around, Adin Ross is definitely refusing to pay Blueface for the fight, and the reason, allegedly Blueface breached his contract. Now we don't have every single detail, but we got a couple tweets thrown out by Blueface and thrown out by Adin Ross, which I will read and show here on the screen. But it's basically showing Adin Ross saying that Blueface breached his contract. He broke some things that was in his contract, and therefore he will not pay him. Let's take a look at some of these tweets. So eventually Blueface kicks it off by saying looking for a way not to pay is not a good look. I'm gonna get mine regardless. Then Adin Ross immediately says, you're so unintelligent. All you had to do was retract what you said about the fight being rigged, and you would have been paid in full. Take some accountability like a grown man you are. You lost, you breached your contract that you signed. That's nobody's fault but you. Do not sign and agree to a contract if you're gonna breach out. That's how the law works, dummy. Everyone else got paid out quick but you, because you breached. All you had to do was drop the tough guy, retract what you said about the shit being rigged, and you would have been paid in full. So basically Adin Ross is saying that Blueface went online saying, the fight being rigged, and him not taking accountability. Then Blueface says, never said how much I was paid. The excuses are becoming evident. Was never contracted to wear a patch even if I was fined $100K. So I guess somewhere in his contract he was contracted to wear like a patch on his shorts or gloves or whatever, like a logo or something like that, and I'm pretty sure Blueface ain't wear it. But that's not even half of what's owed about retract talking about retract my statement. Why would I do that if I was never compensated? Further proving my point that this is bad business from the opponent changing a week before the fight and my original opponent still on the event. So that kind of makes sense. I understand where he's coming from. The kind of unprofessional with the situations that Blueface got in before the fight. He was originally supposed to fight Ruger, but then the fight never happened. He wasn't allowed to, and then Ruger was still in the car and fought somebody else. So I understand where he's coming about, being unprofessional, but I don't mean break your contract. You know what I'm saying? So then Adin Ross drops streams, and a clip came out about him talking about Blueface and a contract. I'm about to show you right now.
There's actual contractual obligations that he didn't follow, so he breached. He was supposed to wear a rain patch on his shorts. He didn't, and he's gonna have to pay $100,000 for that. Breached another confidential, he can't speak about anything, money, how much he got paid or whatnot. And we asked him to retract his statements, and he didn't. We gave him some time. We didn't want to do it. Now we're gonna do it. So, yeah, we tried. We tried working with him and Whack, and they weren't really fucking. And they didn't want to work with us. So. Sucks, but yeah, we tried. I literally wanted to pay him multiple times. You could ask Ack.
Pretty much in the clip you just seen, he says what he says in the tweets. You know what I'm saying? He says that Blueface was supposed to wear a rain patch, and he did not wear it. And then also in his contract, and him by him not wearing the patch, it's like $100K fine. You know what I'm saying? And then also in the contract, he can't speak legally about money, how much he's getting paid and all that, and the fight being rigged and all that. That literally says that in his contract, and he broke it. So literally, I don't really see what the problem is. If it says in your contract not to do that, then don't do it. You know what I'm saying? You signed it. If you don't want to do that, if you don't want to do those things, then don't sign a contract. It is what it is. Don't fight for them. But social media has kind of been going crazy. They're kind of a little split. You know what I'm saying? Some people calling Adin Ross unprofessional and calling him a scammer and all that. And some are saying like this is exactly why influencer boxing can be risky, which I agree. A lot of these people running these influencer events are influencers that have no idea what the hell they doing, and then they get a team of other idiots that don't know what the hell they doing. So yeah, it's definitely risky. But on the other hand, a lot of people saying Blueface was being Blueface and he broke the contract, which I agree. You know what I'm saying? Don't sign a contract if you're gonna break it. But what happens now? There can really only be a few ways this could go. Like they might settle things privately and the situation dies down, or more details about the contract might come out, or this can really turn into a legal situation. And if it do go legal, we could be hearing about this for a while. But at the end of the day, this is another reminder that business always comes first, especially when it comes to influencers and all of that. So let me know what y'all think in the comment section. Do you agree with Adin Ross or Blueface, or if you don't agree with nobody, if they're both in the wrong or if they're both in the right? Let me know. I'm down to argue in the contract, or not a contract. See, I need to get off here, but I'm down to argue in the comments, man. Let me know. Like, comment, subscribe, man. Don't go nowhere. All right, watch the video that's on the screen right now. Let's get it.